Hi everyone, welcome to this next part of the Confluence 101 series where I guide you through getting started with Confluence and learning about all of the great features that it's got that make your life easier when you're trying to share knowledge with your organization. In this episode, I'm going to be talking you through the macros feature of Confluence. So we'll start off with what a macro is, how you can insert them onto your pages, and the difference between built-in macros and some other macros you can get from the marketplace. So first of all, let's take a look at what a macro is. In simple terms, a macro in Confluence is like a little widget or a plugin that you can drop into a page to add more advanced features without writing code or filling it in yourself. Think of it like a smart building block on your Confluence page. So let's say you want to insert a table of contents or show a list of child pages, embed a PDF, or pull in data from Jira. You don't want to figure out exactly how to code that or to copy that information into Confluence. You just want it to work. And macros let you do exactly that with just a few clicks. They're like the power tools of Confluence. So let's get started. So going back to a previous page that I have here, we're going to enhance this page with a few really useful macros. So this is an RFC. I've got a summary. I've also got a set of tasks. And how would I add a macro? So you can add macros in two different ways. One is from the slash menu. So I can go on here and I can type in a macro, for example, the roadmap planner. And I can add that macro directly from the slash menu. For example, I can insert enhanced functionality here onto my page if I'd like. The other way that you can add macros is from the plus menu here at the top. So you can go through here, you can search for macros, and you can click this View More button to see every single macro available in the system. So I'd just like to highlight a few of these right now. So what Atlassian does is they do merge things that we wouldn't consider macros into this list, like tables and code snippets. But first of all, let's take a look at the panel macros. So if I wanted to highlight some information on my page, one of the most useful things I can do is use the panel macros. This could be an info, a note, an error, a custom panel, success or warning. And you'll see how this looks. It adds a panel to the top where we can select the color. We can also select the icon as well. And we can just use this to highlight information, for example, like that. So really useful if you want to just highlight a piece of information here. Another really handy macro that you might want to use is the table of contents macro. So this macro lets you easily show a summary of all the headings on the page and let users quickly jump to it. So for this, you want to type /TOC, the table of contents. We want to press enter. And you can see this shows the current titles that I have on my page here. And I can show these with a number, or I could use bullets. And I can also select which levels of headings I want, or whether I want a horizontal or a vertical list. And you'll see if I add a heading here, you'll see it appear on the top. So let's add one for a new heading. And we'll set that heading to. And you can see at the top there, our heading now appears. And if we click number, we can get a nice table of contents at the top so that our users can jump really quickly to the section that they're after. Another few of these kind of simple macros that I'd like to show you is the expand macro. So you can probably imagine what this is. At the top, we can give it a title. And then underneath, we can actually add in data here. And then we can toggle whether or not that's going to show. So this is great if you have information you don't want to be visible on the page by default, and you want them to be able to open this up separately. But also if you want to show information to different people. So say we wanted an executive summary here. We could have an executive summary for the operations team. We could have different team information here for the different stuff. So maybe this is the legal team, product team. And then if we update the page now, we can easily have different information here for the different teams. So we keep all the information relevant. Okay, so what else might we want to include? Other things we can include are things that summarize stuff on our page. So say we've got a very long page here with lots of different tasks in it. We could use the summary macros here to show that information. So there's one called the task report. And this is going to show you, if we select this page, for example, this is going to show you any tasks that are still remaining on our page that haven't been completed. So you can see here we've got a task signified by this checklist. And because this task hasn't been completed yet, it's going to show up in this task report. And if we deselect the other ones, you'll see that's also going to show up in the summary there. So it makes it easy for you to summarize who's got tasks remaining. Confluence also has a feature called decisions, which let you highlight prominent decisions that you've made throughout the RFC, for example. And you can use the decisions report macro to actually pull those key decisions out of Confluence and include them on other pages. So to add a decision, I type /decision and I can select the decision, and it's literally this box here. So we can say we decided to include the user schema in this RFC. And we might want to just simply highlight throughout a big document that this is a decision that we made. And then at the bottom of the page, similar to before, we could add a report section here and add a decisions report. And you'll see at the bottom of the page now, we have a nice summary which can show decisions across our space that we've made and also the page that they're on. So this is nice for summarizing throughout a long report or a request, highlighting the key decisions that were made in the space or on the page. So you can see what macros do. They add this enhanced functionality to your pages, both for formatting, for summarizing information, or by enhancing it with even more like external data, etc. Another macro we might want to use is, say for this, we also have a Jira project and we have a bunch of Jira issues that are relevant. We could type /Jira and we could go to the Jira work items. And using this, we can embed Jira issues in our page. So I'm going to pick an example here. I want to show some of the issues from my site. So if I click insert, this is now pulling that information from Jira. So I don't need to keep hopping between the different sites. And with this, we can also configure what we'd like to see here. So we can have a nice list of issues that we need to complete here as well. So another macro we could utilize that's included is the roadmap macro. So by typing /roadmap and we click roadmap planner, we can then use this to create swim lanes to set up what's happening and when. So you can see with the roadmap planner, we can have a very basic roadmap for what's going on in our project. But I'd recommend probably using something more scalable than this, like the Jira Plans feature or the built-in whiteboards, which is the next topic I'm going to cover. And it's important to note that I've just showed you macros which are included in Confluence, but you can also add a whole raft more macros with other plugins, which we're going to cover in the next episode. So I hope that was useful, and I hope now that you know what a macro is, some of the built-in macros that are included, and also how to add those and some of the useful features that you can use just straight out of the box with Confluence. So join me for the next episode where we'll be talking about the page properties macro and how you can use this particular macro to show information on parent pages. See you in the next one.